पार्लियामेंट हाउस का मुश्तरका इजलास शुरू हो गया है। हम आपको बराह रास्त लिए चलते हैं। आप देख सकते हैं ये कार्रवाई बराह रास्त पार्लियामेंट हाउस की है, जहां पर सदर आसिफ अली जरदारी पहुंच चुके हैं और वो सदर बन जाएंगे। छठी मर्तबा खिताब करने वाले पाकिस्तान के पहले सदर होंगे। कार्रवाई शुरू हो चुकी है।
या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू इत्तक़ुल्लाह हक़्क़ तुक़ातिह वला तमूतुन्न इल्ला व अंतुम मुस्लिमून। वाअतसिमू बिहब्लिल्लाहि जमीअन वला तफर्रक़ू वज़्कुरू निअमतल्लाहि अलैकुम इज़ कुंतुम अअदाअन फ़अल्लफ़ बैन क़ुलूबिकुम फ़अصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون صدق الله العظीम।
अल्लाह के नाम से शुरू जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला है। ए ईमान वालो, अल्लाह से डरते रहो जैसा उससे डरना चाहिए, और न मरो मगर ऐसे हाल में कि तुम मुसलमान हो, और सब मिलकर अल्लाह की रस्सी को मजबूत पकड़ो और फूट न डालो, और अल्लाह का एहसान अपने ऊपर याद करो जबकि तुम आपस में दुश्मन थे, फिर तुम्हारे दिलों में उल्फत डाल दी, फिर तुम उसके फजल से भाई भाई हुए, और तुम आग के गड़े के किनारे पर थे, फिर तुमको उससे निजात दी। इसी तरह तुम पर अल्लाह अपनी निशानियां बयान करता है ताकि तुम हिदायत पाओ और चाहिए कि तुम में से एक जमात ऐसी हो जो नेक काम की तरफ बुलाती रहे और अच्छे कामों का हुक्म करती रहे और बुरे कामों से रोकती रहे, और वही लोग निजात पाने वाले हैं। वमा अलैना इल्लल बला।
आप ये देख सकते हैं आज नौमुंतखब असेंबली का मुश्तरका पहला इजलास आज ये शुरू हो चुका है तलावत कलाम
I
पाक
invite
से।
Honorable President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mr. Asif Ali Zardari, to address both houses assembled together under Clause 3 of the Articles 56 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
This is wrong. Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the Parliament, Assalamu alaikum. I'm thankful to Allah to be standing here today in all humility to address the Parliament at the beginning of its first year. It is an honor to be the first elected civilian in the history of Pakistan to oversee the transfer of power in a democratic moment. It is a cause for which Shaheed Benazir Bhutto dedicated her life. It is a cause for which I spent 11.5 years in prison. It is a cause for which Prime Minister Mohammad Nawaz Sharif suffered imprisonment and exile. Democracy has arrived. I wish to thank you for the great honor shown to me. Mr. Speaker, I should begin by congratulating once again the new elected Prime Minister, Mr. Mohammad Nawaz Sharif. He has been entrusted with a great responsibility by the voters and the elected Parliament. I wish him good luck in the discharge of his responsibilities. I am confident he will rise to the expectations of the people. I wish to congratulate you, Mr. Speaker, on your election as the custodian of this august House. Your election as the Speaker is a demonstration of the trust reposed in you by the elected members of the National Assembly. I wish to congratulate all new elected members of the National Assembly. I wish to particularly welcome the women, non-Muslim members of the Parliament. Their empowerment is a part of a state policy that cuts across political divides. I appreciate the last members of the last Parliament for passing historic constitutional amendments as well as laws. I also wish to compliment the former Prime Ministers for their able leaderships. I wish to recognize the Chairman Senate, Senator Nair Hussain Bukhari, and former Speaker, Madam Dr. Fahmida Mirza, for their high standards and impartial conduct. I should also like to congratulate the people of Pakistan for their participation in the elections. They demonstrated courage in defying terrorists and the enemies of democracy. Their participation shows the ethos of our people is democratic. There is no place for dictators in today's Pakistan. I wish to salute the people for their courage. They have spoken through their vote. Their voice has been heard. It has been demonstrated by the smooth transfer of power. And I commend all political parties and the leaders for accepting the poll result despite the reservations. Together, they have added to the grace and glory of democracy. Mr. Speaker, this is no ordinary day. It is a great day in our history. Together, we have fulfilled our promise to democracy. Together, we have fulfilled our promise of smooth transition of power from one democracy to another democracy. This democratic, peaceful transition marks the success of a prolonged struggle. A dream has come true, a promise has been redeemed. It is a triumph of all political parties and democratic forces. It is a triumph of the people of Pakistan. Let there be no doubt or mistake about it. Collectively, our people have written a new chapter in our history. Collectively, the people of Pakistan deserve to be commended. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I recall standing here 5 years ago to deliver my first address to the Parliament. Then I had urged the Parliament to empower itself. I had called upon it to revisit the 17th Amendment. I had urged it to take away the powers of the President under Article 58(2)(b) of the Constitution. A year later, I repeated the request. We urged the Speaker, the first woman Speaker in the Muslim world, to form an all-parties committee for this purpose. It is a matter of great satisfaction and pride that Parliament purged the Constitution of undemocratic articles. It is a great honor for the members of the August House. It will always remain the first line in the biography. They have reason to be proud. They brought about the first major constitutional reforms in more than 3 decades. Previously, they were piecemeal constitutional amendments, but these were designed to promote the personal interests of dictators. They were not meant to strengthen democracy or empower the people. The outgoing Parliament made a lasting contribution. It made the Constitution truly democratic. Provincial rights as well as parliamentary sovereignty has been restored. It abolished the concurrent list, legislative list, and transferred all subjects to the provinces. It banished Article 58(2)(b) that hung over the Parliament like a sword. The Council of Common Interest has been strengthened. Oil, gas, and natural resources within provinces now belong jointly to the provinces and the federal government. The Parliament also has an oversight role in the selection of the Chief Election Commission. Let no one think of subverting the Constitution. The suspension and abrogation of the Constitution is an act. No court shall validate it. These are no small achievements, and all of it was achieved with consensus. I wish to compliment every single member of the outgoing Parliament. I also wish to commend the previous government for coalition partners and indeed all political parties who made it possible. Together, they worked for democracy to take roots. Mr. Speaker, freedom, democracy, and constitutionalism lead the nations to greater progress and glory. The first constitution was given in 1973 by political leaders of the time led by Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. The fundamental rights were introduced for the first time. The people felt protected. As a result, our people made great progress. They were filled with energy and purpose. The progress was halted when the Constitution was subverted on 5th July 1977. The hopes and dreams of the people were shattered. A process of national decay set in. Assault on the Constitution in 1999. For decades, we have been reeling under the forces of decay. It is sad reflection that the Constitution has been abrogated. Unfortunately, its abrogation was endorsed by the pillars of the state. That must come to an end. There have been calls to punish those who subverted the Constitution. It is for this august Parliament and the government to devise an appropriate and wise policy. I assure you my support in this. Mr. Speaker, we can achieve a lot if we keep aside our prejudices and egos. Let us renew our commitment of the Constitution. Each pillar of the state must operate within its constitutional limits. Let no organ of the state trespass into the domain of the others. We need reconciliation and not confrontation. To go forward, let not democratic forces challenge one another. Democratic forces must come together and join ranks. We are confronted with serious challenges. Economic hardships have caused pain, power shortages, rising militancy and extremism have compounded economic woes. We have to find solution to our problems. The Basha Dam has already been launched. It will generate 4,500 megawatts of power and store over 6 billion acre-feet of water. Work on it and other energy projects like the Thar coal need to be stepped up. We are faced with huge tasks. I am confident the new government will overcome the challenges. Peace and reconciliation in Balochistan must receive high priority. We need to address the issues of missing persons. A commission on missing persons has already been set up. It has also made some progress, but a lot more needs to be done. It can be done. The cycle of poverty must be broken. The program of poverty elevation and women empowerment has already been launched. The poor women expect program to continue and strengthen further. Women and minorities are the most vulnerable groups. Efforts to protect and empower them need to be kept up. We need to further strengthen interfaith harmony. We need to take measures to prevent misuse of the blasphemy law for setting personal and political scores. The disabled and special people need to be integrated in the mainstream of national life. We need to have a mechanism of transparent accountability of all. It must be across the board and not selective. Let be judged by the same yardstick. Militancy, extremism, and terrorism pose the greatest threat to our national security. The nation is united against the militants. We need strong leadership to overcome the threat. We are ready to make peace with those willing to give up violence, but we should also be ready to use force against those who challenge the writ of the state. We will undertake economic developments of the affected areas. The government will not allow the use of their soil for terrorist activities against any other country. We will also not allow anyone to violate our sovereignty. The sovereignty of Pakistan must be protected at all costs. It will be. Our armed forces, paramilitary forces, police, and the citizens have made great sacrifices in the fighting militancy. The nation is proud of their sacrifices. Their sacrifice will not go in vain, Mr. Speaker. Expatriate Pakistanis are a national treasure. They need to be reorganized and honored. We need to work towards giving them the right to vote. Devolution set into motion need to be taken forward. It needs to be taken further to the level of local bodies. The government is committed to freedom of media. There is also need to create an atmosphere of self-regularization without state interference. Pakistan seeks a conducive and stable regional environment. Our relationship with China remains the cornerstone of our foreign policy. Relations with China are not affected by internal political changes. We believe in investing in relationship. My 9 visits to China are a manifestation of this investment. My trips to Central Asia and 7 visits to Turkey demonstrate our eagerness to strengthen ties with these countries. We look forward to peace and stability in Afghanistan. We wish success to the Afghan-led reconciliation and reconstruction process. We are seeking to improve relations with all countries in the region. The Prime Minister has already given the guidelines. The goal of prosperity and development will not succeed without regional peace. We want to improve relations with India. Steps have been taken to liberalize trade with India. We want a peaceful settlement of our water issues. We seek a peaceful resolution of Jammu and Kashmir issue in accordance with the wishes of the Kashmiri people. We do not want an arms race in the region. We believe in resolve the issue. Dialogue alone can ensure peace and understanding. We are determined to root out militancy. It is not an issue of any single country. Militancy threatens all countries in the region and indeed the whole world. It calls for sincere and collective efforts of all. We can fight militancy better through dialogue and cooperation rather than doubting each other. We greatly value our relations with the Muslim world. We will continue to strive for further improving our ties with them. We also value partnership with the United States and Europe. We need to further strengthen it on the basis of mutual trust, mutual benefit, and respect for sovereignty. Drone attacks are a serious violation of sovereignty and international law. They are also counterproductive and not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, we need to take some hard decisions and without delay. Delaying decisions do not avoid problems. It invites crisis. We need to carry forward the fruits of democracy to the grassroots. We cannot afford confrontation. We need reconciliation. We need to learn the truth about past mistakes in order not to repeat them. This calls for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I am confident that as democracy takes root, we will be able to deliver on it. I have no doubt that we will to the dream of that our founding fathers had about Pakistan. I wish the new government and the parliament good luck. Thank you. Pakistan, Zindabad.